defenders roaming the backcourt. We have a spectacular matchup. It's all going to be about strategy and limiting the unforced errors for both sides if they're going to advance to the all-important semifinals.
So the second referee just calls in all 4 players to check the real-time body sensors are connected and in touch with our systems here, so we can give you the calories burnt, the number of blocks, the number of jumps, some valuable information from these 4 players. And I think Dane has summed it up beautifully. It's a chance for the Dutch duo here to reap some revenge because the last time these two met was in the gold medal match in Hamburg. And of course the United States of America came up on top in one of the biggest tournaments of last season. So the USA get the action underway. Men's quarterfinal match here on centre court. And Big Phil, Dalhausser up at the net. But it is Meeuwsen, the number 2 for the Dutch team. Robert Meeuwsen that puts the first point on the board.
Yeah, Meeuwsen challenging right here, crushing the ball cross court. Remember, the last time out was the end of 2017 when Big Phil and Nick won the World Tour Finals in Hamburg. And they're looking to continue their ways here in the major series to kick off 2018.
Good shot from Lucena.
Just to give you an idea, that 6'1" Nick Lucena going up against 6'9" Robert Meeuwsen. He's got to get crafty that time, pushing, jousting into the block, using his leverage from below.
First service for Phil. Dalhausser is just a little too long. Both players just looking to settle into their rhythm and stride here. Robert Meeuwsen with service. Big power jump serve, way too deep. Scores all tied at 2-all.
Both teams kind of feeling it out right here, seeing what's happening, what tendencies are there, where they want to serve the ball. And that's a crushing cross court by Brouwer. You mentioned he loves to hit the ball, so the United States not even really waiting to see if he's going to shoot the ball. They have to have that block up early, and Nick in the backcourt has to be in the right position.
Yeah, Boom Boom Brouwer, we nicknamed him last season. He really does need to, or love to, as you said, Dave, melt that ball. But they've got such a good record here. Of course, Nick Lucena from Florida, a lot of support for him. 3rd and 2nd in the last 2 years of the majors here in Fort Lauderdale. So Dalhausser and Lucena are the favourites. First side switch. The wind is just blowing across the court, not really affecting the ball in any way. Maybe the sunlight could be the factor and the reason why it's important to switch sides every 7 and calculation of 7 plus on the board. Temperature is cooling off. The humidity certainly a little lower, down from 52 to 41%. And there's Brouwer, bounces that one off the shoulder blades of Dalhausser.
That was quite a hit right off the top. See, the thing is, Brouwer does not care if he gets blocked a few times. He's willing to roll the dice there. That time going right through the uprights, off the top of the head of Phil Dalhausser. Look at the set from Phil. Nick can't get there in time, but Phil just makes it look effortless. You see him drop to his knees, set that ball up, no spin on it, and he rarely gets called for a lift or a double because he's got these great hands. And it's rare you see a blocker his size have the kind of finesse game that he does.
Well, Meeuwsen there was waiting, wasn't he? Just holding his form and position.
That's what happens when you set the ball from so far off the net. The attacker has to watch the ball, can't see the block, and usually goes the other way.
Great angle on the ball from Nick Lucena.
That was a big point right there. A sharp angle. Look how far outside the antenna he is. All the way outside of the net. Somehow gets it back inside the antenna. Over the net. The top spin on the ball and the contact is just perfect.
Dalhausser serving. Meeuwsen picks it up. Brouwer sets his partner. Lucena, good cover. And the block not with the right direction of the ball. Meeuwsen had his hands there, but just puts the ball out of play.
He got used right there. That's what we call the block being used. It didn't look like Nick had anywhere to go but to hit it off the block and out of bounds.
Oh, ace serve from Phil. Big Phil Dalhausser to tie the scores at 7-all.
Phil and Nick taking a 5th place last year at the World Championships, but they won in Stade, another major series event, and then winning that World Tour final. So a real great year in 2017 for Nick and Phil, and they'll probably continue it on. And at 38 years of age, both of them, we're looking at them being, what is it, 40 when 2020 comes around?
Absolutely. It's great to see Dalhausser win in Switzerland. He's got relatives there, family there.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to see that at the Swiss major, such support for an American team.
Yeah, well, Phil is actually from Switzerland,
yeah,
and moved to Florida at a very young age and found his way out to California. And wow, is he something special. I don't know if a player like him will come around in a long time. Just having the hands that he does. You know, he's been voted best setter on the FIVB World Tour 7 times. Also best blocker 7 times. Look at that. Puts the ball up effortlessly. That one just out of play. Can't get there. And Netherlands clinging on to a 2-point lead. We talk about Phil being from Switzerland and winning that event in Stade. You know, Nick, this is his home turf, his stomping grounds. Graduate of Florida State University, and he's got a lot of people out here backing him, so this would be something special. He could take home a major series title here on the sands of Fort Lauderdale.
Trading side outs here. It's nice and equal in the early exchanges of the first set of this men's quarterfinal on center court.
1 point to our technical.
Good play from Alexander Brouwer from The Hague. This Dutch duo played over 68 FIVB World Tour tournaments together. They're a long established double act. Here's Brouwer. Great block at the net from Phil Dalhausser. Crowd love that one.
Just nowhere to go right there. And Phil getting up, over, and pressing. If you look at his technique, it is nearly perfect. Left arm is lined up with the hitting arm. He's pressing back into the court, and he's pressing at the exact time that the hit takes place. Here's the dig. Phil gets up, gets his feet set, jumps and presses over the net. Brouwer, all he can do is try to tool a block, but unsuccessful on that one.
Total of 21 points on the board. Technical timeout. Let's take a look at the service placement for the Dutch team here, Dane. All going to Lucena, as you predicted right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, 100% of the serves, they are staying away from Big Phil. And sometimes I believe that to be an error. Some teams will go to the shorter player thinking they're avoiding the power of the big man, but that shorter player sometimes has all the shots and they are harder to read. So looks like they're going to stick with that strategy right now. It'll be interesting if they make any adjustments. It's worked so far with a 1-point lead, but it hasn't really pushed them ahead or created any separation. So it's all about strategy. Oh, wow.
That's what the crowd have come to see. Spectacular block from Phil Dalhausser to tie the scores.
Oh, that was straight down. And we knew it would happen. Brouwer will continue to hit the ball. That's just what he does. Even if he gets blocked a few times, he will come back swinging. And that's been kind of the signature of this squad of Brouwer and Meeuwsen. Take a look at it again. Meeuwsen ripping that ball right in the seam.
Brouwer with service. Sticking to the target, the same target, which is Lucena on serve. Lucena, beautiful rainbow shot. Brouwer thought he got there. And Nick Lucena ties the scores at 12 points all. Evenly matched right now. Power play from the Dutch. Great blocking from Dalhausser. Brouwer just gets a little underneath that ball. Not quite got the timing of the shot right.
That ball just missed the back line. Or was there a touch?
No, there was a touch, Dave. My apologies. Meeuwsen with service. Lucky to get away with that one.
Oh, that ball was way in the deep corner, and Nick has to use the entire court. Nick stuck at the neck in a block. And he says no touch. And Phil signals immediately for no touch. So they are going to review this in the challenge. So smart play by the Americans. A rare occurrence where you see Nick up at the net as a blocker and Phil in the backcourt. So a solid challenge right now. As we mentioned, two teams. Each of the teams get 2 challenges per set. And if you're successful, you don't lose those challenges. This is a block touch. That's a tough angle to see whether any part of that ball on the top of the net hits the arms of Nick. It looked like it may have. It's possible that the Hawkeye camera might give us a better view. And yep, there is a touch just on that left hand of Nick Lucena. So touch, point for the Netherlands.
Point for the Netherlands. The USA lose one of their challenges. Now. We're ready to continue with play. Robert Meeuwsen with the serve. Real drop float. Dalhausser picks it up. Big Phil spots the angle. USA 13-14. Coming back at the Dutch, who thought they'd got the break in this first set. Lucena with the service. Little kiss off the tape. Meeuwsen has it covered. That ball is
out of bounds. I think they're calling a net violation on Phil Dalhausser right there. He is not pleased with it, and not going to challenge either. Let's see if we can get a look at it. There's a shot. He comes down, just brushing it with his chest. He jumped with a little balance issue there. And Brouwer Meeuwsen, as we mentioned earlier, they're an up and down team, a team that won the World Championships in 2013. They got a bronze in 2016 in the Olympic Games. They're kind of big game hunters. They come out for the big tournaments, but at times don't play to that level. That ball hitting the bottom of the net, definitely no touch there. They were so close in that Olympic Games, losing in the semifinal to Alisson and Bruno, and then taking down the Russians in the bronze medal final. And so they know how to take care of business on the big stage.
Yeah, they lost to Alisson and Bruno in the pool play as well earlier this week.
Oh, that set was a little shaky, and Nick Lucena is going to give the head referee, Papadougoulis, a mouthful. And you know, I don't blame him right there. The United States won the point, but it looked like it should have been a double contact called. And when you argue like that, you know, the referees are only human. So next time he sees that similar set, he's going to think twice about it. A little gamesmanship, you know how it is, Nick.
Absolutely. Now Holland have called a timeout here because the USA take the lead at 16-15. And this is where the Dutch duo really do need to keep their calm. A 1 minute breather. The Netherlands hoping to stop the flow. And the consistency of the point scoring from Team USA.
That's one thing that's hard to score. You know, hard to score points against the Americans. They don't give you a lot of unforced errors, and then even if they do have a few unforced errors, they have the ability to score runs of points because of not only the serve by Phil, but also his block and the defense of Nick in the back.
16-16.
Scores all tied. Good play by the Netherlands.
Yeah, when you can score points as easily as the United States can, it gives you a comfort level that you don't have to play so wound up, so tight, because you know you can make it up at times. Here's an option. And successful. Nick teeing up his larger, taller partner, the 6'9" Dalhausser, getting up and taking care of business.
Lucena serving. Meeuwsen. Brouwer sets his partner up. Very important side out for Holland. Scores all tied at 17 all in the first set of this second men's quarter-final here on centre court. Brouwer float serve to Lucena. Dalhausser sets up his partner. Oh, it's a little over the net. Can you believe that? Nick Lucena absolutely delighted to come out on top on the net joust. Wow.
Look at that, a little back and forth, nobody into the net, and a little flex down by Nick Lucena. Usually the shorter player has the leverage of pushing up into the taller blocker, and that's exactly what Nick does on that one.
18-18.
Service error from Dalhausser brings the scores back to 18-all. This first set could easily go either team's way. Now's the time for the local heroes, Dalhausser and Lucena, to make their play. Meeuwsen with service, again to Lucena. Oh, and he gets this one in this time, just when he needed it. Alexander Brouwer, cross-court, powerful play.
A real aggressive shot right there, challenging Phil and going cross-court. Phil has seen enough, trailing by one here in the late stages of set one. He's going to call a timeout, and they're just going to think about it. It's funny, Phil and Nick have such a solid friendship. They won their first event in 2005 in Austin, Texas on the AVP tour in the United States here. And then they separated, went separate ways, with Phil playing with Todd Rogers, and they went on an incredible run, putting up incredible numbers and winning that gold medal in 2008. And then Phil and Nick reunited in 2015 to make a run for the 2016 Olympics. So 10 years later, reunited, and you can tell they're just great friends. They understand one another well, and that chemistry is so important at this level of the game. When they call timeouts and go sit down, they usually don't say much. It's almost as if they know exactly what to do next, and a real even-keeled team that really gets it done. A lot of fun to watch. Play some clean, high-level volleyball, and it's just a pleasure. It's just a big question is, will they still be on top of their game come Tokyo?
Lucena again on serve receive. Lucena on the attack over the top of the block. Beautiful rainbow shot from Nick Lucena, justifying the call for the timeout. Just that 1 minute break in the flow of the game gives America a chance to tie the scores, and here with Lucena's service to go ahead for set point. Oh, what an absolutely beautiful block from Phil Dalhausser at the crucial point on the first set, giving the USA set point. Look how quick Lucena wants to get on with it here.
That's what I'm talking about, that luxury, that point scoring. They're down 19-18. They put 2 points on the ball, on the board quickly. Oh.
Well, it would have been a sensational serve if it had gone America's way, but it goes the wrong side of the net. Scores are all tied at 20 all. More work for USA to do if they're to claim this first set. Great play from Nick Lucena.
That was a great pass. Beautiful underhand set, and then tooling the block. Nick Lucena letting the ball drop a little, letting the block go by, and getting the kill.
Second set point for the USA. Dalhausser with the service. Cross court to Brouwer. Brouwer on the attack now. Oh, the block is there! And what a sensational opening set for the Americans. Center court is alight, 22-20. Dalhausser and Nick Lucena take the first set. The Netherlands will need to win the second to take it to a third set tiebreak. Another sensational block from Big Phil.
Well, what I tell you, live by the sword, die by the sword. Brouwer just trying to go straight through the block of Big Phil, and sometimes it works, most times it doesn't, as Phil is successful there, wrapping up that set. You know, it's a tough strategy. You cannot go through him. You want to try to go high off the block, try to hit around him, but if you try to go through Phil, more times than not, you're going to end up losing that battle. Watch out here if the Netherlands can keep pace, because when Phil catches fire, sometimes they come out and roll the team on the second set. And it'll be interesting to see if Brouwer continues to swing away.
Confirmation, 22-20. The first set in this men's quarterfinal goes to the American pairing Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena. Here we go with the second set. This is a must-win set for the Netherlands. And Lucena making it look so easy. Picks it up where they left off with the first point on the board for Team USA.
Another stuff block by Big Phil. And the hustle, too. Touches that one, runs it down, sets his partner. Nick keeps it in play, gives Phil a second opportunity. And this from about 5 feet off the net, but a perfectly executed block once again.
That's just out of play. Allows the Netherlands to put their first point on the board in the second set.
Brouwer and Meeuwsen need to find out a way to somehow manufacture and score some points. They need a few blocks or some defensive plays. It's been the United States just chipping off the block, getting the ball to the sand. Not a lot of long rallies. Every rally gets terminated pretty quickly. Ball not crossing the top of the net multiple times. In the United States, their first ball side out percentage has to be through the roof.
Here's Dalhausser with service. 3-1 to the USA, 1-0. Oh, almost there. Off the fingertips of Dalhausser. Lucena nearly got his hand to it. Alexander Brouwer. Service. Oh, and that is a frustrating error from the Dutch player. Break is back with the USA at 4-2. Oh, now a little bit of confusion from the Dutch players. Who's going for the serve receive or not? Well, Meeuwsen does well to get out of trouble there. Quick side switch. But the confidence, pace and momentum seems to have gone from the Dutch game, Dave.
Yeah, and that's what I said. The United States, when you see Phil starting to warm up, a close one in the first set, 22-20, but they have that pattern of coming out and really turning up the volume in the second set, and they're doing it here early, up 5-3. There's a nice set by Meeuwsen. Brouwer, a little cross body, hits the top of the net, and still gets that ball down.
Meeuwsen with service.
Oh, rip of a serve.
But no problem for Nick Lucena. Well, what a great play from Team USA. That must have been one of the fastest serves we've seen on centre court today. But Nick Lucena has this amazing skill of containing the ball and controlling it at the same time.
Yeah, and he has to cushion it. He has to take all that momentum away, and he does it by getting his platform out early and really absorbing all that energy. And that's what makes him such a great passer.
Still with the break advantage, the USA. Brouwer with the service to Lucena. Well, one arm save from Brouwer, but Dalhausser at the net has it covered.
Making it look easy with his left hand this time. Just up and tapping it down. Oh, that's a risky play. I think Nick will probably give him an earful after that. There, he's going to walk over and...
Well, even the crowd called that one. Yeah. There was a big ooh from the crowd. They could see it as well.
You know what I love is Nick and Phil both kind of just walk by the referee. Don't mention anything. Just kind of let him know non-verbally that we were really close to coming over here and giving you an earful again. But we'll let you off the hook because we ended up winning the point anyway.
The Dutch call a timeout. And, well, both players, you look at their body language in the dugout there, shaking their head, almost scratching their heads, trying to find the answers. Dalhausser, 3 successful attacks, 6 blocks in this quarterfinal match alone is just a spectacular stat.
Yeah, he's dominating the net, and we knew that would be a huge factor. Could the Netherlands get around the block? Could they hit the ball off the block? Could they get creative? And so far, the answer has been no. Phil has dominated it. That's why the United States up a set and up 8-4 here in the second.
Dalhausser, 47 jumps to 33 from Meeuwsen. That's why he's winning the blocking statistic at the net. Lucena with the service. Meeuwsen sets Brouwer. Brouwer with his, well, traditional power play. But puts it out and takes away any of the benefit from calling the timeout. The USA now 5 clear of the former world champions from the Netherlands. He gets it right this time. Second time of asking.
Right back to the same shot. Cross court, but, you know, coming with that power has been, you know, it won him the best hitter of the year in 2017, so he's probably trying to defend that title. Continuing to rip the ball. I wonder how long his shoulder can hold up. Coming that aggressive every single time, Brouwer.
Drawing clear now. It's a 5-point advantage for Team USA, having won the first set 22-20. Dalhausser with the service, targeting Brouwer. Here's that trademark thump of the ball, but he gets the cross-court angle and a very valuable point on the board. Brouwer with the float serve, out of play. Costly errors for the Dutch team. And America go back to that 5-point lead. Lucena to serve now for the USA in the traditional blue and red beach volleyball vests. Serving Brouwer. Brouwer attacks. Oh, and this time he gets the better of the Dalhausser block. That'll raise his confidence just a little.
Phil, you can see the look on his face. He thought he had him. And smart play by Brouwer, changing it up.
There's Big Phil on the attack. Well, showing Brouwer and Meeuwsen that he too has the power play within his repertoire.
The fans loving that one. That ball actually bounced and ended up in the grandstand. Here's the hit, and look at it, just detonates. Over on 2. That's a good strategy when Phil's serving, because that doesn't give him enough time to get to the net and set up his block. But as you can see, Phil was almost there in time, deflected it, but couldn't get the loose ball that hits the ground.
Good play from Lucena. Technical timeout with a total of 21 points on the board. 13-8 for the United States of America. Comfortably winning the first set, and I think it's fair to say, Dane, taking control of this second now.
Yeah, this is how Phil and Nick play. They continue to put pressure when they have you down. They usually don't let up. They continue to press, and that's what they're doing against the Netherlands. That's why in 3 out of the 4 times previously they have met this team, they have been victorious. Thought the Netherlands would come out really fighting, trying to even up this series, but it just hasn't gone their way. Phil and Nick have been so successful putting the ball away, past the block. Meeuwsen doesn't have many blocks, and they've kind of kept him quiet, whereas Brouwer has gotten a lot of the swings, but quite a few have been blocked. 6 blocks so far for the Big Phil and counting.
.417, 1.3 kilometers for Lucena, 1.2. Very close on the ground coverage of the court. It's an important side out for the Dutch, and they really do need to put some points on the board quickly here. They have to win this second set to stay in this quarterfinal match.
And it's not that the Dutch are playing poorly. It's just that the United States is capitalizing on as many point-scoring opportunities as possible. And I was going to say the United States not having many unforced errors, but there's one by Nick Lucena, and maybe the Netherlands can get back their footing and get a little momentum going on their side to get them back into this one.
Great play. Dalhausser going over on 2. completely catching the Dutch players out of position. 14-10. Here's Dalhausser with service. That wind is starting to pick up just a little now.
Yeah,
good shot from Brouwer there.
Yeah, it is very windy. A good note there, Nick. The wind is blowing. You're seeing the flags on the top of the stadium really howl. And that can play a huge part. That time, Brouwer, that's one of the first shots we've seen of him. And he's successful. And Phil out of bounds, so there's another point. They're closing the gap at 12-14. But back to the wind, a lot of teams are having to play on court 2, which is outside of the stadium. The stadium is really protecting of that wind when you're inside. Outside, there's nothing to protect you, and that wind becomes even more of a factor.
Well, they're battling their way back into this second set, aren't they? The Netherlands at 13-14. Wouldn't be a surprise to see Team USA call a timeout. Here is Alexander Brouwer with service. Floats it to Lucena. There's the set from Dalhausser. Off the fingertips of the blocker, but covered. Oh, and that's disappointing for Meeuwsen. Very disappointing.
Yeah, good opportunity. Touch off the top of the block. Looks like the Netherlands control it. And there is the set. And with the left hand, he just kind of mishits it. Ends up right on top of the tape. Doesn't make it over.
Cross-court shot. Well, Brouwer's playing well. It's Meeuwsen that just needs to play a bit of catch-up now.
Yeah, well, Brouwer's getting pretty much all the serves. And what I like what Brouwer's doing right now, he's starting to vary his speeds. Instead of that one speed hitting as hard as he can every time, he's thrown out a shot and a little off speed. Oh, look at this dig by Brouwer. He'll swing at this. Oh, wow. Nick looked like he got caught in the sand right there. Looked like he was going to make the play. And then his hands got caught in the sand. So give a lot of credit to the Netherlands. That defense was spectacular. Oh, yeah, look at that. His hands got caught right in the sand. You don't see that often.
Meeuwsen with service. Serving to Lucena. Dalhausser over on 2, but Brouwer has it covered. Meeuwsen sets his partner. Great play from Dalhausser and Nick Lucena. Taking the lead back after the Dutch leveled the scores in the previous points.
The Dutch, their defense is on fire right now, getting that ball up in the air. Note that the United States, instead of panicking when these defensive plays are happening, they patience, stick with their game. 3 contacts and a little cut shot by Nick to get the point.
Great block. A little bit of a question mark from the Dutch. It's called for a challenge, Meeuwsen.
Phil, of course, is back to serve. I'm not sure about this net violation. I mean, this ball hits into the net, and I don't think there was any violation, but why not use your challenge? Break up the time. No fault. Look at it, up and over the net. Beautiful block. But I think a good strategic move for the Netherlands. Slow things down right here because they're in striking distance.
They certainly are, Dane. Phil Dalhausser. Oh, what a time to put down a service ace. Just as we think the Dutch are finding a bit of momentum and getting close to tying the scores in this second set. Ace serve from Phil Dalhausser.
And Phil, up until a few points ago, had not done his top spin serve. He was doing a jump float serve, and now he's really going for aces, trying to put pressure.
Brouwer on the attack. Spots the open court, gets the angle on the shot. 16-18 for the Dutch. Quick reminder that Team USA took the first set 22-20. So this is a must-win second scenario for Holland.
Well, with the lefty again, Phil putting that ball away, going up 19-16. You know, Phil used to rip the ball topspin from the back line as a server every time. Now he's adopted a jump float serve, and I don't think it puts as much pressure, but he has in his back pocket that ability to rip that topspin serve, and a couple of tough serves have gotten to this point.
Match point for the USA. Another spectacular block from Phil Dalhausser. And in this kind of form, I'm not sure there's anybody in this men's tournament that can stop Lucena and Dalhausser. Let's see if they can wrap it up nice and quickly.
Yeah, when you have that ability to rip those jump serves and put so much pressure, you're in the driver's seat.
He's done it again. Oh, Phil Dalhausser taking his blocks into double figures. 21-16. Team USA into the semi-finals. Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena keeping the local fans on their feet with a spectacular 2-0 victory in this men's quarterfinal. Awesome blocking from Dalhausser. Confident play from Team USA, Dave.
Yeah, what was most impressive, I thought, was the change of strategy when the Netherlands really put up a fight, almost even things up there, and Phil turned to the topspin serve. The ace down the middle was kind of a defining moment that gave the United States that 2-3-point edge, or this thing could have been going 3 sets. And so a lot of adjustment, a lot of strategy going on there. He's such a tough blocker to get around, and that's about as much emotion as you're going to see out of Big Phil. Both fists in the air, a little embrace of his longtime friend and partner.